This is Vik Sahay, and you are indeed listening to Chuck versus the podcast.
Hi, my name is Graham Jones, but you can call me Gray. This is my show. It's about Chuck. It's filled with interviews, the latest news, crazy co-hosts, and spoilers that'll make your day. Oh, wait, I need to go back. I host these TV nights. They used to be pretty boring, but everything changed when I found NBC's new show, Chuck. Pretty soon, my TV night got pretty crowded. Guys I didn't even know were showing up the door. Big, important guys. Really scary, nasty, get killed for hosting them guys. Next thing I know, these super episodes are downloaded into my brain, which means every moment of my life, I'm thinking about Chuck. ChuckTV.net sent their top people to protect me. That's Mel and Liz. They're pretty zany. They co-host with me now, as a cover. So now I must welcome you to Chuck versus the Podcast, the #1 TV podcast for NBC's Chuck. This is Gray.
This is Mel.
This is Liz.
And we want to welcome you to Chuck versus the Podcast, episode 32 for Friday, November 20th, 2009. In today's podcast, we have Mel's interview with Vik Sahay, plus the latest developments in the world of Chuck. And the breaking news that everybody wanted to hear, Chuck is coming back early. NBC announced yesterday, Thursday, that Chuck will be coming back January 10th, which is a Sunday, with a 2-hour special event. And then on Monday, the very next day, January 11th, they're going to start with their regular time slot, Mondays at 8 on NBC, right before Heroes. We're absolutely pumped, and so are the rest of the fans in the Chuck universe. This is breaking news. Some of the podcast may be a little bit out of date, so I want to apologize about that. We're going to resume the rest of our recording now with Liz talking about an interview that Zach gave regarding the 6-episode additional order.
Zach talked about getting the additional episode order. He's excited about the additional 6 episodes, but as a result, he had to drop out of Kenneth Branagh's feature film adaptation of the comic book Thor. And he had been cast as one of Thor's Warriors 3. So that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Would have been cool to see him in that.
Mm-hmm.
Scheduling conflicts. Boo.
Yeah.
But 6 more episodes of Chuck. Yay!
Yay! Yeah. And I did mention it in a late breaking news item last week, but Chuck versus the Podcast has been nominated for the Podcast Awards. This is otherwise known as People Choice Podcast Awards. And so we want to thank you for your nominations. And daily voting is open from now until November 30th. I repeat and stress, daily voting. That means please, with your morning coffee or whatever daily ritual you have, maybe you can add that to the daily ritual, because we really, really need your votes. We're in the entertainment category, and you can visit podcastawards.com to cast your vote, and we thank you in advance for your support.
And also, as a result of the comments on posts and discussions in the forums at chucktv.net and the listener emails that we receive, we decided to create a survey for Chuck fans to find out how they prioritize the various elements of the show. Because as we know, Chuck is not just one thing, it's a whole bunch of different things. So we wanted to see, what is it that Chuck fans are most interested in about the show? And that survey does close today, Friday, November 20th, but there's still time to get in there and take the survey if you want. You can go to chucktv.net, and there's a big old graphic there where you can click through and take that. And we appreciate everybody's feedback. It's been really interesting, the results so far. Some of it's been right on what I expected, and some of it's been a surprise. So looking forward to discussing the results in more detail on our next podcast.
Yeah. I want to commend you, Mel. I think it was a really, really well put together survey. I thought the questions really actually surprised me in terms of how it made me process thinking about Chuck in a different way. So I encourage you, even just as an exercise for yourself as a Chuck fan, it's a really, really interesting way to look at Chuck. And without further ado, we're going to go to Mel's interview with Vik Sahay.
How are you?
I'm good. I hear you've been working today.
I have been, yeah.
So a long day, huh?
It gets long, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not certainly not complaining about it, but yeah, the days can stretch along for sure.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us anyway.
No, I appreciate it. Not a problem at all.
Okay, well,
Happy
good.
to.
That's what I like to hear.
Really? You wouldn't rather hear me complaining?
No, you know what? I'm getting enough complaints about some of the spoilers coming out.
Oh,
I'm
right.
over it. I'm over it.
Right.
I've been ready to email some of these people and say, I do not write the show.
Exactly. Just leave me be.
Yeah, and one throwaway comment that, for example, Brandon Routh is a potential love interest.
Right. That enough sent people over the moon.
Yeah, we can't talk about him being a mentor. Oh, no.
Right. No.
We have to have 300 comments about Chuck and Sarah.
Right.
Telling you, Vic, the show needs to come back.
Yeah, well, to make your life easier.
Yes. Could you work on that for me?
Yeah, I'll fix that.
Thanks. Appreciate
I'll
it.
be right on that.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
That's awesome.
No
Okay. All right. Well, tell me what you're working on today.
I cannot tell you. I can't tell you things like that.
Well, no, which episode is it? 4?
Oh, we are on 4. We're we're in the middle of doing 4.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah. See, that wasn't so hard.
Well, almost.
Yeah. See, I'm hoping that you're tired enough that I'm going to be able to get some stuff out of you.
Well, that's the one thing I said to myself 100 times. Don't say anything.
Oh, well, this is going to be a really brief interview. Nice talking to you.
Well, or it could be a long war. How about that?
That could be a battle of wits.
War. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Sorry, I've come unarmed.
Oh, really?
No. All right. Well, let's start at the beginning then.
Okay.
From Canada.
Yes.
Yeah. We have Gray, who is our podcast producer and co-host, is from Toronto.
Oh, wow.
And Lou, who's a frequent contributor to the website and also joins us on the podcast from time to time, is also from Toronto.
Oh, so this is a kind of a Canadian thing.
It's a North American venture.
No, come on, it's Canadian.
Well, I'm from Kansas, so I'm not really sure how that fits.
Well, Canada.
Kansas. Yeah, okay. Sure.
All
All right. Well, they had some very Canada-centric questions for you.
Okay.
Do you play hockey?
Do I play hockey? I do, in fact.
I
played a lot of hockey when I was a kid. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. On the frozen rink near my place, and then in leagues, a lot of hockey, actually. All
right. Who's your favorite team?
Well, I grew up in Ottawa, so the Senators and the Montreal Canadiens are definitely the teams that I focus on and watch.
Okay, and you still watch them even down here in the heat?
Yeah, it's harder.
Lower.
It's a different broadcast, and I'm kind of used to Ron MacLean and Don Cherry on the CBC Hockey Night in Canada. You know, it's where I kind of grew up and what I watched. So it's harder to follow the Canadian teams here. Mm-hmm. So less so, but you know, I follow what's going on certainly.
Okay. Do you have a favorite player?
I do and I don't. I mean, I think the Montreal Canadiens' history and legacy, the people that came, you know, even before my time, the Rocket Richard and Jean Beliveau, and then Guy Lafleur, and now Gisaku Koivu and stuff like that. So I think that, you know, there are many favorite players.
Okay. Any chance you're going to work hockey or skating into Chuck? Do we have a big ice rink episode coming?
When you say you're going to work into it.
Yeah, like in the background.
I've only written 17 of the episodes, and so no, if I could, I would. Mm-hmm. And it's not something, you know, ice skating and playing hockey is not something easily slipped into. I can't just suddenly show up one day on set with my skates.
Doesn't really fit into Southern California.
Yeah,
no.
They don't quite, not as easily.
No.
If they dare to, I'd be very happy to. Mm-hmm. It'd be nice to see Lester do something that he's incredibly good at that other people maybe can't do as well. And maybe he'd have to be skating.
There's always Parcheesi.
Right. Oh, yes, that's right. Well, his version of that.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah. Which apparently is I always win. And
well, it's look, just because, don't hate him just because he always wins.
No.
That's what I'm sensing from you, Mel, his hatred towards him because he's clearly such a winner.
I am envious of his Parcheesi skills. I'm not going to deny it.
Okay.
I sit there and I seethe with envy when I watch that episode.
I'm sensing that off you right now.
Yeah, there's some latent anger there.
That's very seething.
Yeah. Well, what do you miss about Toronto when you're down in LA? Do you get to go back very often?
I do. I go back once in a while. Yeah, I do. I mean, I miss about Toronto. I guess I feel it's funny when you. I don't know if this is for everybody feels this way, but I kind of feel they do. When you grow up somewhere, you just all you want to do is escape. And now that I'm here in Los Angeles, I guess I miss things about it. I certainly miss people. I've some people who are very, very close to me there, and it seems like even though it's quite a big city, it seems compared to the LA and the industry here and all that to be almost quaint. So there's a calmness and a coolness and a simplicity when I go back there that I guess I miss a little bit for sure. Yeah.
What's your favorite place to hang out there?
Many. I spent a lot of time hanging out there.
Yeah.
Let's see. This is a place that I kind of discovered it late in my time there called the Roxton, which is this little pseudo bar restaurant that always played, cool music, and I got to know the staff there, and it was a cool place for me to just sit, read, or have a big night out, or meet a couple of people. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
It sounds like a really nice kind of neighborhood place, huh?
Yeah, it is. It is. I lived kind of in this area called Little Italy, Little Portugal, and it had a lot of great restaurants and bars and stuff like that.
My absolute favorite place in the world is Little Italy in Boston.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, my gosh. I love it there.
And so you're from Kansas, but you lived in Boston for a
while?
No,
I visit. I travel a lot because I'm from Kansas. So.
I see. I didn't realize one thing equaled the other. Yeah. But okay,
it does
fair
for
enough.
me. It does for me.
All right.
Yeah.
And one of the places you traveled to was Boston.
Yeah, I've been there a few times, and I absolutely love it there. And the first time I went was with my younger brother, and we travel the same way. We like to just kind of wander around.
Yeah.
So have you been to Boston?
I've not. No.
No. They have this thing called the Freedom Trail.
Okay.
It's like 2.5 miles, and it's this brick line that's set into the street or the sidewalks, and you follow it, and you go by Paul Revere's house and all these, the state capitol and all this stuff. Yeah, it took us like 3 days
to walk it
because we kept going. Ooh, what's that? Oh, what's over here?
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So in the process, we found Little Italy there, and it was so cool because it's these tiny little streets, and the grandmas are out there in their lawn chairs, in the intersection, and nobody can get through, and the big guys in the silk suits and the gold chains are the bouncers at all the different Italian restaurants. I'm doing so you can't see me restaurants.
Right. So yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. So is that the same as the Toronto's Little Italy?
No, it's a little bit the same, but it's almost like the Little Italy in Toronto has become a very mainstream strip almost. So it's on a street called College Street, and there are definitely very authentic, tiny little places, but it's also become kind of a bustling Saturday night, hangout, which is good and bad in my opinion. But what it's done is it's created a situation where a lot of bigger, higher end restaurants and bars have opened up because people realize it's a place to potentially make a lot of money, I guess, in the restaurant world. Right.
Is there a Starbucks there?
There are, yeah.
Yeah, it's over, man. It's no longer cool.
Well.
Find someplace new.
Yeah, I'm looking. Is there a Little in LA? Is there a Little Italy?
Yeah, I have not run across one, but I bet there is.
I'm sure there is. Yeah.
Sure there is. I've been out there.
What I need to explore Los Angeles in terms of
hard though.
Local, yeah, and it's very different. I think it's very spread out.
And it's not a walking. I mean, even though it has all these little neighborhoods, it's not a walking feel.
No, it's not a walking town, and that's also very different from Toronto. And that's another thing I miss about Toronto is being able to walk places
without people looking at you like, oh, we maybe should.
Yeah, why is that person walking? Yeah, exactly. You're looked at as a stranger, and some kind of a threat if you're walking.
Yeah,
yeah.
Freeloader. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All of which I am.
Oh,
so
yeah,
right, of course I
clear.
am. They're right about me.
Yes.
I just don't like being seen
Yeah.
that way.
It's a big secret. We don't really want people to know.
I don't like being exposed
Yeah.
for being a threat and a freeloader.
Mm-hmm. You're a scary guy. We met at Comic-Con. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember. I
You
do
do?
remember. I'm clearly a very frightening guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your reaction when I suggested Prince for Jeffster,
Right, well.
Freaked out the whole table. So.
Well, it's just because it was obviously an inner freak out. And I didn't want to have those feelings, so I put them on other people.
I see.
Isn't that the right thing to do?
Project. Sure. As an actor, that's what you do, right? You project.
That's right. Project. Put it on the other people. It's their fault.
Make us feel what you're feeling.
Yeah, that's right.
Sure.
Hurt them if you have to.
Uh-huh. Yes.
What?
Yes.
I've gone too far.
I still think that Lester needs to sing some Prince.
I know you think that.
I
know that. You've made that clear.
I just,
But you understand that there is an actor playing Lester who would have to learn to sing those songs.
Lip sync it, man. Have it. Okay.
No.
Storyline.
No.
Lester loses his voice. They've got the big gig. He's got a lip sync. There you go.
Well, but then, no, I can't do that.
No. You got to stay true. That'd be a sellout, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be a sellout. That would be a moment where I know. I would betray the character.
It'd be like if Jester appeared on the Today Show. Total sellout.
Oh, is that your opinion? I will not join you in that opinion.
No?
Well, not publicly.
That's when it's no longer hip and cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you're on the Today Show.
Yeah. Or
Right.
if you do, your song's on an iPod commercial.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, does that make who's done the recently? U2?
Yeah.
U2?
I'm not saying it's not awesome and cool. I mean,
no, it's too late.
Do
You
it.
have said that.
No, I'm not saying selling out's a bad thing.
No, too late.
Saying. All right. So now you're this big actor,
Wow.
and everybody knows you. They stop you on the street when you're walking around and tell you to sing for them, right? No. Seriously, what do people ask you when they see you?
I think, people, first of all, I mean, I think that there seems to be a real pure love for the show. So if anybody is going to approach me, generally it's because they just love the show. I don't know. I don't know. I was once, someone someone showed me something, and then I've refused to ever go on the net again to read anything about myself, about people, thinking that I myself am Lester and kind of loathing me. And, yeah, fire him. How dare he steal Chuck's computer? He needs to be fired. God, I hate that guy Vic. I'm like, but I didn't, that's not, they wrote. So, I don't know. I mean, when people see me, if they're going to approach me, generally they're like, I love the show, I love your work, and oh, Jeffster is great, and stuff like that. So that's all it really is. Sometimes they have suggestions for songs. Mm-hmm. But I have a feeling that, my worry with playing a character who's, I guess, a malevolence I'm chewing into is that people will hate me personally.
No. But see, you're awesome.
Oh, wow.
So, and no. We've been talking about the MTV interview that you did with Iggy.
Oh, yeah.
That just went out.
The Iggy. Right.
Yeah, the Iggy. And FilmNet.
Yeah, the big ones, the long ones.
The long ones. We've, they've emailed us and said, hey, you want to post an excerpt, and so we have, and then send people over there to watch the entire interview, and they come back and they say, oh my gosh, this guy is so cool. He's so, insightful, and basically he's so not Lester. So I think, yeah. I think the big con that you're pulling, I think it's working.
It's working. Oh, wonderful.
Sweet.
Wonderful. The plan is coming together.
The con is on, yeah.
And the con is on, as it were.
Mm-hmm. All right,
good.
so good. Yeah, so that's great. People
nice
are coming up to you.
That's good. That makes me feel happy, actually.
Yeah, I've been really pleased with your reaction and the people coming back to the site and saying, hey, this guy's pretty cool, and maybe we do want more Lester in season 3.
Right. Initially, no.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about, because there was so much to digest in season 1 that, and the Bymore culture and all of that, that was, a lot of people were saying, we want more spy, more
romance. Yeah, understandably, absolutely.
Yeah, but I think, the tide's a turn in there.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about auditioning for Chuck. How did you first hear about it?
Through my manager. Just it was a regular pilot audition. It was during pilot season, and the scenes came in for the role of Morgan, actually, and I went through the madness of the audition process, reading for Morgan, and really, literally, it was basically me and Josh Gomez, and I think he got it.
I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who got it. I don't want to go on record by no. Yeah,
okay.
He obviously got it, and it was a devastating loss. It really was. It was. I am not one of these guys who has developed a thick skin. I feel everything too harshly.
Oh.
And it was brutal. And then a few days later, they called and they said, do you want to play Lester? And I really was like, who's Lester? And scoured the pilot script, and he had 2 words here and there, and they and I didn't want to do it. I was so hurt, and my manager basically was rightly saying, you are in absolutely no position to say no to anything. Quiet down and get on set. And it was the best push that's ever happened, because I got on set, made a choice kind of on my own, and began to, just riff and improvise, and was encouraged to do so, and here we are today. So it's pretty cool little moment, to think that I almost was like, nah, I'm going back to Toronto.
It's the tiny decisions that turn out to be the big ones, right?
Is that true, Kansas?
I think it is.
Okay.
Canada.
Why wouldn't I be more specific? I didn't call you U.S.
Well, it's because you said you grew up in Ottawa, but you lived, in Toronto.
So you were unsure where to...
I'm trying to, I'm not sure where you identify.
Right, and so you went with the general.
I am a native Kansan, therefore...
Therefore, you will only be that.
Apparently so. Yes.
Okay.
No. Now, tell me what was the choice? The choice you made. You said you were on set. You made it.
I mean, I don't know. I think that as I looked for clues in the script about who Lester was, I may have inferred from a tiny little moment, or I just thought of this idea that he would almost be. This is not how I thought of it at the time, but in the end, he's kind of the opposite. He has almost the opposite relationship to Chuck that Morgan has, who I obviously initially auditioned for. He feels very antagonistic towards him, and I think that he has this what I like to call an unrequited rivalry with Chuck. He's certainly not one of those people who feels that Chuck is a great guy and so brilliant, and he's not on that train. He has a thing where he, ultimately deeper down, he envies him. He's jealous of him. He doesn't think he deserves the respect and admiration he gets at the Bymore. And I think the choice was that Lester is this kind of guy who's desperate for it. And and therefore, and that was it. That's where I started to kind of riff from and go off of, and that's sort of, I think, where they've begun to develop.
Mm-hmm. Is he envious of that? It looks like Chuck is getting everything so easily.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's the effortless charm and effortless admiration and effortless friendships and leadership. I think it is the effortlessness of Chuck that makes Lester so crazy with jealousy, and that's what he wants, and yet, therefore, because he wants it so bad, he attacks everything in a hugely effortful way, and basically pushes everybody away from him.
Of course, that's the quickest way to be not
it's
admired.
Like me,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that is an interesting choice because obviously everybody else at the Buy More does just think,
He's
Chuck's
great
the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
the Xbox, whichever. But
right, whichever, you happen to be eating at the time.
Or, either depending on whether you're Big Mike or Morgan, for example.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. That's right. I guess you're saying, don't say I'm saying this, you're saying Big Mike would say sliced bread.
Uh-huh.
And Morgan would say Xbox.
Exactly.
Do I have that correct?
I think that is the correct assignment of preferences there.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's good.
According to Kansas.
And indeed, according to Kansas versus what, Ontario?
Closer, better.
I don't know. Quebec? You're right on the border, so I don't know which to go.
Why don't you call me Border?
Okay, border.
All right, Kansas.
All right, border, yeah. This is good. I'm glad we're getting to know each other in a way that we can now have nicknames.
Yeah, we're already there.
Yeah. So your first impression then of Chuck is that he's, this effortlessly cool guy.
Well, I mean, from Lester's point of view. Yeah, from Lester's point of view, he's this effortlessly cool guy who's the center of things and rising as it seems like he can come and go at the Buy More, obviously. And
yeah, what is this about? I mean, he never has to be there.
He's obviously on a lot of installs, and is able to do that, I guess. And whereas the rest of us, we need to be at the job 24/7.
He gets to drive the Nerdmobile.
He gets the Nerd Herder, as it's called.
The Nerd Herder.
Yeah. I think that all of these things contribute to Lester's. I'm not going to say hatred, but let's just say hatred of him.
Not to put too fine a point on it.
Yeah, but, I'm not going to say hatred. However, his hatred of him is based on all these things, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, how is that changing in Season 3? Have you seen a change yet, or is he still...
I think he's still that guy. I think he's it's blossoming a little. It's getting deeper. There's been little clues as to where this kind of needing to yell for attention comes from, and hopefully there'll be kind of exploration of that or new ways of exploring that and expressing that, and we'll see. I'm not going to tell you anything about what's happening in Season 3, so you can quiet down about that.
My telepathy was getting to you there, wasn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Then I'm not going to ask you if Lester gets a love interest. And,
don't ask.
No,
don't ask that.
I'm not going to ask you about these awesome guest stars we're hearing about.
Very sweet.
I don't want to know.
Very sweet of you not to ask.
I don't want to know.
If you don't want to know, then I am going to tell you. The answer, no, I can't.
So close.
So close.
My evil plan.
Yes, the reverse psychology almost worked. No, I really am not going to tell you anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to hang up, then...
So how's the weather? I mean, it's...
I'm not... I refuse to... I promised to the weather people...
That you wouldn't reveal?
That they could... That they can tell us.
Okay, no spoilers on the weather?
No, absolutely not.
All
nice
right.
Try.
Darn.
No, nice try.
What are you having for supper?
Quiet now.
Oh.
The food people would be very angry with me.
Oh, I'm going to have to talk to Fedak and Schwartz and say, this guy, he's a vault.
Yeah, and ask me, listen, I'll tell you this. If they give you permission, I will then tell you what I'm having for dinner.
Oh, they totally did. They did.
Well then.
Yeah, it was on the list of approved topics.
Oh, great. Little ground turkey, lentils, and spinach.
Oh, how very healthy of you.
Well, thank you.
Just a little compliment to butter you up.
Yeah,
so,
right. And now I'm going to tell you everything about.
Yeah, about these guest stars.
Yeah.
No, seriously though, it's like every announcement that comes out about who's going to be guest starring on the show. It's the same as when we were going into, Season 2, and we were hearing.
I know. It's pretty spectacular. I mean, it's pretty spectacular for a kid from Toronto, Ontario, Ottawa.
The border.
The border, as it were. To see, to be working with people that I've watched on television for, or on the films for, my whole life, the Chevy Chases and the, working with Tony Hale was just beyond a thrill for me.
That guy is so funny.
He's so funny, so brilliant, and like the fact that we're kind of friends now.
Aww.
Yeah, it's a very kind of surreal moment.
Yeah. Do you guys, the cast, hang out much off screen, or is it just you and Tony and you don't tell anybody else where you're going?
Yeah, no, I've told Tony to really just
dial it down.
Yeah, dial it down enough.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we do. We hang out a lot, and it is a very sad, almost uninteresting thing that we get along just cheesily well, and have you'll have so much fun. It's sad. There's a sadness to that. We should have drama and hatred on set, but we don't.
You're like, man, we're never going to be in the tabloids, guys.
I know, exactly. We're never going to become stars. Exactly. But yeah, no, we do hang out. We go out and have drinks and dinner and chit-chat and laugh, and it's, I think it translates.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It looks like you guys are having so much fun that the cameras just happen to be on. And
generally, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we are. I mean, it's the effort. The hard thing is to get through scenes without corpsing, without laughing our brains out, because it is a whole heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah. Is there still a lot of singing that's going on between takes?
There's a lot of some kind of noise or the other all the time. Screaming, joking, riffing, singing, everything.
All right.
Yeah.
Some burping contests, I'm thinking.
No.
That's
the one thing will not happen.
This is an elegant cast.
Do not. We are very, very elegant, graceful, oddly pretty. Mm-hmm. Enough.
Well, speaking of that, let's talk about Scott Krinsky.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of oddly pretty.
And elegant, graceful. Indeed. Yes. Yeah. Jeff and Lester, you have really emerged as quite the duo.
And it feels like that, yeah.
Yeah. To the point that now, you've got Brangelina and, even Chera on the show, and now we have Jeffster.
Right, now we're Jeffster. I mean, I think the emergence of that band began to put us on a different path of discovering about these two guys. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's been, just awkwardly brilliant.
I'd say that comes through.
The most, we're brothers, Jeff and Lester. They've kind of become anti-rock stars together. Mm. And you can't say that of many people in your life.
This is true.
We became anti-rock stars.
I don't have an anti-rock star of my own, and so...
You will, Mel. I see that for you.
Okay.
I see that for you.
Something to aspire to.
Well, look, not all of us get to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, but we keep
We're all
climbing.
on our own paths.
We keep climbing.
Keep climbing.
Yeah.
Keep climbing.
Yeah. You were talking in your interview with Iggy on Iggy. One of the most provocative segments was talking about ethnic casting. Mm. And as you were, it was a really interesting thing. And, I liked that you turned around and asked him, what do you think about it, and got him all flustered. That was pretty amusing. But it was valid. I saw what you were doing with that, but that was a funny moment. But as I was watching it, I was thinking, now we have Lester Patel,
yes,
who apparently is Jewish.
Right.
And I just wondered, how much of this sort of backstory did you make up? How much of it was part of the character going in? How much did you guys talk with the writers and creators and come up with this sort of amalgamation?
It was all the writers, creators. It was all their idea. That I don't know when or how or what made them decide that he was going to be Jewish. I don't know if they were just like, well, this character will be Jewish, or if they had plans for him. If they did have plans for him being Jewish, they certainly didn't change that when they cast me as that role, and they went for it. So I guess because his last name is Patel, he's either, that when I started doing my research and whatnot, he's either from this, there are Jewish people in India, Jewish Indian people who are from this. The B'nai Menashe is the specific name of the people there, or his mother's Jewish and his father's East Indian.
Yes.
Right, and I think that's where I'm leaning actually, is that he's got a Jewish mother and an East Indian father, so he's half and half. And they brought it up. The first time it was brought up was, I think, that Christmas episode with the Hanukkah. And then what I would do is on top of that, whenever we could, I would improvise whatever I'd learned. I would use little phrases and stuff like that. And I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I'm just, going online, talking to my Jewish friends and realizing that there's a remarkable similarity between people of various different ethnicities and what it's like to be, an immigrant and all that stuff. And then just started to go into it, I mean, I think that, there's an irony to Lester being of the Jewish faith, the chosen people, and all he wants is to be chosen, Maybe he feels kind of anointed by his faith and feels that he's deserving to be chosen in some respect. And so, there is leaning on that a little bit.
I like it. Yeah.
Do you?
I do. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm seeing hidden depths.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think so. For me, certainly. So there's a lot to relate to. Yeah.
Do you bring a lot of I'm getting the feeling that you still feel like an immigrant, even though you're just,
Well, I mean, to a certain degree. I mean, I'm not sure how much I said that, talked about this on the Iggy. I don't even remember. But, I spent a lot of my time running away from, wanting to be different. And then you start to go, I mean, as an actor, not to get too, boring or deep about this, but I certainly need to, or the way I like to work is rely on what makes me tick, and I think that my parents are from India, and because of that I may have had a very specific kind of upbringing, and so I draw upon that whenever I relate to certain moments. I mean, I'm not playing myself in Lester by any means. I am not Lester. But, to make moments work, or to make feelings come up, or to make, intentions and all that stuff kind of click, I like to personalize. And that's part of it, for sure.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. I'm not an actor, but it makes sense to me.
Have I put everybody to sleep?
No. My eyes were wide open here.
All right. Yeah, you were dozing.
No, I can sleep with my eyes open. It's a really cool. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm always interested. I cannot act. I freely acknowledge that I do not have the talent. So it's always interesting to me to hear.
Have you tried?
I was in a couple of high school productions, and I did not care for it.
Okay, interesting.
And yes, it felt like pulling teeth.
What aspect of it?
Trying to be somebody different.
Interesting.
And say somebody else's lines, and I just.
So it's not for you. It's not like a stage fright thing.
No, because once the lights are up and I can't see anybody, that's fine.
You're fine.
Yeah,
right.
I do prefer to be behind the scenes. More because I like building. I was my brothers and I were always the ones that were constantly building, with the Legos and the blocks and everything, and never actually played with them. We would build these elaborate structures and then knock them down and start over.
Right.
I used to play The Sims. Yeah, I'd play Sims and I would pause it and use the cheat code to get a ton of money and just keep building houses. This is what I do for fun.
That is fun.
So
that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think.
Yeah.
So building a character is not my cup of tea.
Idea of fun, right. And yet it's my idea of
fun. And I respect people that can do that because I wouldn't have the first idea.
Well, I mean, look, I the first idea, a lot of it is training, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have the first idea either if it wasn't for teachers. I went to an arts high school, I went to theater school, and I had people going, this is how you do it.
Mm-hmm. But do you feel that you had this innate talent that they just helped you learn how to use?
I don't know. I certainly had an affinity towards acting in general. I don't know, nobody in my family, I didn't grow up with it. I didn't have anybody around me doing it, so I don't quite know where it came from. What I do like doing is disappearing into roles, into characters, and playing parts and research. I love research and and then, connecting it to my life and going that way. So I guess I at least had an affinity towards enjoying that aspect of what acting is, and then, putting it on its feet and doing, it all began, I mean, in high school and theater school, a lot of it is classic plays and Shakespeare and stuff like that. So that's where my whole world began, is like, researching language and then what this means and where it comes from and that aspect of that character and how it relates to me. And so I don't tire of it. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you went to an arts high school. How old were you when you decided you wanted to maybe seriously be an actor? I mean, had you decided at that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've worked really hard at it, through high school, through theater school, afterwards. I don't really remember, officially making any kind of decision about it. I really don't. And sometimes I've realized when I say that, it comes across like, hey, everything worked out, and I worked hard, and there was a lot of like stuff that I lost, like the role of Morgan. So it wasn't, it's not like it was hey, I climbed this mountain easily. Mm-hmm. But I don't really, I just somehow along the way I found myself, I think that I was always saying to, my parents, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm taking, even though I was at an arts high school, I convinced my parents to let me go there, and I think I even remember having conversations with my parents where they were like, you're not going to be an actor. I was like, no, physics, math, chemistry. And somehow I was like, and now I'm going to go to this theater school. They're like, but you're not going to be an actor. No. Somehow I woke up and I was like, I guess I'm going to be one. So I don't really know. I don't know why I was drawn to it. I really don't. I mean, that's not what my parents do. That's for sure.
Yeah. Are they math, physics?
Yeah, they're those type of people. They're scientists and math and chemistry and
mm-hmm.
kind of incredibly high-achieving academic people.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not one of those types.
Yeah, it's a very different kind of creativity to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's the nice way to say it.
No.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've sort of just always been going to be an actor and finally realized it, admitted it to yourself one day.
Yeah, it's almost like that. It is almost like that. It's like it came and got me, as opposed to me going to it, like the desire to do it or the need to do it, I guess, to be honest. And I just, it's very difficult to do something or to even see yourself as doing something in which there are no real guidelines that are set out for you by someone you know, by people close to you, by your family. Mm-hmm. And so, maybe, the admitting it was just me starting to see the way to do it or feel the way to do it. But I did go to an arts high school, which was taught by, very, very, by people who were very, very immersed in the arts world. So mm-hmm. I must have been listening to them and how they did it. And we would have guest, speakers who were professional actors, and something must have got in.
Yeah. Have you noticed a difference between working in Canada? Because I know you did several projects before you came to the U.S., right?
Yeah.
What kind of differences are you seeing?
Well, it's just it's a bigger market. It's a bigger stage, certainly. On what I've needed to do for myself is to not be overwhelmed by all that, and just kind of go back to kind of my roots of how I approach a character, how I approach a moment, how I approach a scene, mm-hmm. and go into that. It's the U.S. has this thing about it, I've felt, in which there's no real room for any kind of false humility or anything like that. You step up, you strut your stuff, mm-hmm. and you go for it. And whether it's because I was Canadian or whatever, that takes a kind of inhale and boldness that is kind of new. Maybe it's because there are simply more people after each and every role. You got to be loud to be heard to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. And so I think there's some of that. You strut your stuff here, and you stand tall, and you be bold, and you go for it, and you dig in, and I'm not saying that doesn't exist in Canada, but maybe to a lesser degree it does.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there, because it's a slightly smaller market, it is a small market, you can kind of go in and if the role is kind of in your hit, you might get it. You have a good shot at getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are just simply less people. Whereas here, you got to kill it. You want to nail it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine for myself a scenario within the work that I had done in Canada where I would ever have an experience like I did at Comic-Con. That
Really?
size, that volume, that many people, that much need on my part to go, you better blast this out of the park, Vic. You know what I mean? This better not be some kind of timid, oh, I feel shy moment. You got to get inside Lester and rock star it up.
I have to give you props for that performance. That was electrifying.
Really?
I've been hearing from people that have been to Comic-Con for decades, and they said that is the best opening to a panel in history of Comic-Con.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was.
Thank you.
It was on fire. I mean, you should have seen Twitter I think it crashed. And then when it came back up, it was, oh my gosh, Chester.
Oh, wow. That's amazing to hear. I mean, it was such a moment where, I'm back. I'd never been to Comic-Con. I'd never seen, that world at all. And I was just like, Zach, I said, is this going to be like these other panels, whatever? And he was like, no, buddy, no. No, my friend. Good luck. And then, I got the cue and I stepped out and it's just like, all right, boy.
Had you peeked out before to see how many people were there, or did you not want to know?
I tried. I couldn't tell, and because I'd never even been on the stage before. I mean, I hadn't even walked it. I'd never
Seriously?
felt it. They handed me the microphone there. Oh, yeah. I didn't know. And I said, can I see the stage? And they were like, yeah, it's too late. We've let everybody in. I said, can I peek out? No. What if they see you? I was like, okay. So when Scott and I were walking out, we were like, is there a chair in the way? Where's the table? Is there? We were like finding our way.
Wow, that's impressive. I had no idea. I could not tell from the way you guys were.
That's good. That's good to hear.
I figured they at least would have let you in to rehearse.
No, we had no rehearsal.
Wow.
None. I mean, Scott and I went over the song in our little hotel room. Right.
How much warning did you get?
Well, we got, I got word, I guess a week and a half or something from Josh Schwartz or something like that, maybe a couple weeks, that he was like, I want you to do this at Comic-Con. I want you to sing at Comic-Con. And I was like, what? Live? And he was like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. And so then we spent, a week going back and forth about the song choice. And I was like, I have got to know the song. I've got to learn it. And so we went back and forth, and I said, okay, I want to do this song. I want to do Fat Bottom Girls. And he was like, great choice. Great. Fantastic. So I had, very little time. And then I was like, Scott, we're doing this song. And, singing is new to me. Getting learning the lyrics of these songs that I've had to do alone is its own little task.
Mm-hmm.
And then going to Comic-Con and just, it was all an incredibly new, incredibly big, incredible experience.
Well, you guys nailed it.
Oh, no, thank you. That's amazing to hear. I mean, I haven't watched it. I haven't seen any of the YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, I don't generally watch any of my stuff, but I kind of, yeah.
I recorded it and I got it up on YouTube that evening because.
Oh, you're kidding!
Oh, I'm not kidding. I was like, you guys have got to see this, and people were.
Oh my God!
Yeah, people were tweeting us back. That couldn't be there because we were twittering during the whole thing, and also during the press room afterwards to let people know what was going on and who we were seeing.
Wow.
And they're like, "Oh my gosh, when is that coming up? I want to see! I want to see! No way! You guys are so lucky!"
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
that's wild.
We knew we had
to hear.
Yeah, you're an internet phenomenon.
Oh boy!
You know how much free stuff you could be getting?
Damn. Why didn't no one tell me? Free stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you could get hooked up.
Yeah, all right.
Free video games at least, or Guitar Hero.
Will you help me?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll do what I can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, all right. Well, that's the story behind Jeff Strip Comic Con.
Yeah.
I got to admit, I'm kind of floored.
Yeah, well, as was I.
I can imagine now. I'm surprised you guys didn't just come out and stare at us like going, holy crap.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, but, yeah.
It's funny because, when you were saying about acting, how you're okay being up there as yourself, though you prefer being behind the scenes. For me, there is a bit of an opposite to that. I need to get inside a character so that I'm not at all self-conscious. I think that's why I don't watch myself. And so, yeah, it was like me just going, okay, inside, go inside, Lester. And I think that was one of the only ways I survived that.
Well, that worked. I'd say keep doing that if those situations arise again.
Thank you, Kansas.
On the other hand, Comic-Con next year, I don't know what you guys are going to have to do to top.
I don't know. I can't imagine. I guess I'll have to be up there pantless. What? Is that weird?
I can tell you're already in Lester's mind.
Yes, exactly.
You already entered.
Right.
Isn't that pretty much his answer to how to make anything better?
Yeah, pantless.
Yeah.
Make sure it's pantless.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Anything better? How's that cake coming?
Sandwiches,
pantless. I'd like you to prepare those pantless.
Yep. That sounds like Lester to me. Sure.
Yeah.
You've mentioned a few times that you get up there and riff and improv. So is that just kind of built into your character now, to your script? It's, this is generally what Lester needs to do in the scene. Go for it?
No. Yes, that's right. The scripts are 2 pages long, and they're like, man, Lester says something, whatever Vik wants. And no, absolutely not. No. I don't. The writers are doing everything, so I don't ever take anything away from them. I riff and improv kind of to, just because I don't like, I don't like to stop when they say, when the scene ends, and because I think it creates a kind of chemistry and electricity and vibe on set that 90% of it, 99% of it gets cut, but I think the atmosphere of it is still there. Mm-hmm. And so, if ever I have an idea of something for the character, I'll go, I'll kind of suggest it that way, but yeah, I like to, I like to keep things on their toes a little bit and keep things fresh, certainly. Yeah, but no, it's and they allow it. They're very fun with it. I mean, of course, they'll keep with the script 99% of the time. Mm-hmm. But I believe, and I hope I'm right, that it creates a kind of vibe off of, from the characters, and you can create a chemistry, I think, between characters that way. Mm-hmm. If you improv a certain kind of angle, then you establish relationship, I think.
Right. So then when what we see on screen, we can sort of just feel that there's this relationship and there's all this other stuff that's been happening in the background.
That's my hope. That's what I think. Mm-hmm. That's what I think, that when you cut to us, it's not just the 2 lines that we have in the scene. You see kind of a world or a vibe or an energy or an atmosphere or a mood or a history or something, something that you're like, oh, these guys didn't just show up on set and say their lines and go home, that, that they're lived in. There's a lived-in quality maybe that I'm after.
Yeah, like the characters actually have a life beyond what we're seeing on the screen.
Beyond what we're seeing, yeah, exactly.
They throw that into the show every now and then. We've seen a couple of times. Do you actually watch the show when it airs? And then, fast forward your parts? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there have been a couple of times when we've seen Team Bartowski coming back from a mission.
Yeah. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I love that when you you just see them coming back from something and you don't know what happened. And I think that's
brilliant.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Just not knowing, but knowing that they have lives beyond what we see is it's both aggravating because we want to see everything.
We want to see it. Yeah, exactly.
But gives it a full-bodied feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you're not going to tell me if Lester gets a love interest?
I'm not going to mention that, no.
No.
I'm not going to go into that.
Neither confirm nor deny.
Exactly.
All right. And I'm talking of the non-blow-up variety. Oh,
well then, no.
we can...
I have no idea. No, I refuse to go into that.
Yeah.
He definitely has many of the blow-up varieties.
Does he?
But
has his own little harem.
Yeah, of course. People who actually like him.
Wow.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything untoward with these blow-up dolls. He just
sit and drink tea.
That's right. Yeah, and they're his friends. No, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I've lost my way completely.
Oh, you're weak from hunger and.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Hunger, fatigue.
That's it.
That'll be my excuse.
Sure. We'll blame it on.
Pantless, which is that weird? No.
Not sure.
Well, you said everything would be better, and so as soon as you said that, I went pantless for the rest of this chit-chat.
Yeah. And what do you think about that?
I think it's just gone a little bit worse since I mentioned I was pantless.
And just slightly awkward.
Yes, well.
And maybe not awkwardly brilliant, just awkward.
No, just awkward for its own sake.
Well, tell me where you see yourself in 5 to 10 years, aside from pantless.
Definitely still pantless, as you say. I don't know. I hope that I see myself in L.A., New York, London, Mumbai,
Ooh.
You know, the Italian countryside, south of France, you know, shooting, big international, incredible projects, I hope.
Wow. Yeah, so don't limit yourself geographically when you answer.
Exactly.
At all.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I see myself. Yeah.
That's great. Dream big, right?
Yeah, I think you should, go for the big dream. Live, and want to live big, I think, is what I want. Around the world and working on great things.
It's a good life motto. Live big.
Live big. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me, do you have any other projects in the works? Anything you worked on during hiatus?
I have a potential couple of actually plays in New York. A play in New York in particular that could happen depending on the schedule. Small play, not a small play, but a small, little run. But that's also been, it's like a little, when you're a theater school, student, to do a play in New York is kind of,
it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
You're pretty fun. I think we're going to have to talk with you again.
Good. Let's do that.
Yeah.
This is good, Kansas.
Listen, border.
Yes.
Okay.
Does border sound offensive?
I was trying to think if it did, but I can't figure out why it would.
No, it is incredibly offensive.
Is it?
Yeah, my feelings have been hurt this whole podcast.
Oh.
No, it's accurate.
Yeah.
Border, it's Toronto, Ottawa, Ontario, and Quebec, Canada, the U.S. I am border.
You are. Or you're multinational.
Right. Let's say that.
Omnipresent.
Well, we're stretching it.
No.
Multinational.
Multinational. Yeah.
Right.
That's longer though. I think maybe I'll just shorten it to MN.
Okay, MN.
MN.
Or let's go back to omnipresent because and we'll call me OP.
OP. Yeah.
All right.
He's the OP. Yeah.
Done.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to let you go, Vic. Thank you very much. Appreciate
this was great.
It was. All right. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
And we're almost back. Actually, Mel was lucky enough after the announcement of Chuck returning January 10th. Mel was able to get a hold of Vic again and get his thoughts on the early return. So here goes.
Yeah, so fantastic news, huh?
Pretty amazing. Pretty kind of best of both worlds-esque, I feel.
And how would you describe that esque?
Well, that esque, I think, is described in this sense. Obviously there was a little worry that after all the incredible fanfare of getting us back on the air and all that March was going to, slowly dissipate that enthusiasm. And yet, there was a part of me that was like, if it wasn't quite so far away, there could be an even bigger kind of build of anticipation. And now that this has happened, I think that we circumvent it being too far away, and yet we still kind of get this heart-growing fonderness from the absence-esque thing.
Well said, except for the last little bit there. But
yes, except for the whole thing.
Kind of fell apart at the end, but no.
Yeah, story of my life.
Yeah. So, no, I agree, though. I mean, it's coming back January 10th, and everybody's going to be in that post-holiday slump.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right. I think that the holidays, too, when everybody's on their, high on tryptophan sitting in front of the TV, it's a great time to promo for January. Yeah.
Indeed. Did you know that they started promoing last night during The Office?
I heard that. I have TiVo'd The Office and yet to see it. So what did they show?
It was a modified promo. They have a nice 4-minute one with Zach introing it and then showing us Chuck kicking Lester in the face.
Oh, wonderful.
That's the online promo. And no, they actually show a 2.5-minute scene, I think, from episode 1 in the online promo. And then the one that's being shown on the air is more of a traditional kind of, this is, Chuck said Chuck's one reason for becoming a spy is Sarah, so they can show Yvonne in a bikini, which I thought.
Yes, of course. Yes, that's
their go-to shot.
Promo.
Sure.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's kind of a real, an exuberant Chuck's back, but at the same time trying to get people to introduce them to the concept. So
of what it is again. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you want to go to chucktv.net, you can see the promo.
Do you have the promo on there on Chuck TV?
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got the online promo, and I'll add the one somebody put it up on YouTube from last night. I'll throw that in there.
Definitely check that out.
So yes, very exciting.
Yeah.
Where were you when you found out? Did you find out what they did, or did they tell you ahead of time?
No, well, I don't know. I found out, I think, last night, right? Like sort of, yesterday evening, I think I got a text or an email from Nicole, and that's how I found it. When did you find out? Around then?
Yep.
Yeah. So, no advance warning for me.
All right, then. I guess we'll let you slide on that.
Yes, okay, good.
You didn't, fess up right away.
I didn't hide it. I knew nothing, as usual.
Yeah. So, did you scream? Did you run around and yell, Chuck's coming back early?
Yeah, well, I'm always screaming and running around, so that didn't change.
No.
I think the thing that I feel most is that it feels like a real vote of confidence from the network. And obviously that's wildly gratifying when you're, because we've been, it's a funny thing to not have the air date till so late. You kind of end up working in a bubble, right? You're kind of just putting out product and you don't know, there's no feedback in a sense. You're sort of creating product, and there's no feedback. And so you don't have that kind of sense of how it's going fully. And I think there are good things and bad things about that. I personally like working in a kind of more of a laboratory and then bringing it out. But with this feels like a vote, and I've seen episodes and gone, yes, this is going well. Mm-hmm. And now there's, the added bubble of, inner anticipation and excitement that it's about to air. And it's kind of, I don't know, there's something kind of perfect about it. Airing as we're going and shooting our back six, that will kind of coincide. And,
that's right.
It's sort of and it's good that the fans get to see the fruits of their labor sooner.
It's looking phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Good.
We already had confidence. I did. I
Yeah.
had confidence it was going to be a fantastic season 3, but the bits that they're giving us in that trailer, it's looking really, really good.
The scripts have been dynamite, really dynamite. But they're just getting better and better at it, and I think that all the everything that kind of came together, the budget cuts, all that stuff, it seemed like it was going to be tricky, has indeed, as I thought, manifested, and just making it kind of leaner, meaner, deeper. The mythology that gets explored. It's just, it's pretty incredible.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
Yes, as opposed to, it just did not work.
It sucked. It was a terrible decision.
It's awful. Everything that's happened is awful.
Yeah. No. All right. Well, we're really excited that we're going to see you again. And from what I understand, Jeff Stir is back.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed, we're back. Yeah.
So, care to give us a clue on what they're doing, or?
If I begin to give you a clue, that clue will unravel in me any ability to hold back telling you the entire story. So
That's fine.
Listen to me. Don't do that to me. They will fire me.
No, that can't happen.
Well, then stop it.
Okay. All right. So what'd you have for lunch? No.
I can't tell you.
Since we're on the gastronomic spoilers.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, I'm glad we finally caught up with each other.
Yeah, I apologize for doing nothing wrong, but but for whatever reason, it's bizarre because you don't hear busy signals anymore.
I know. That's when Nicole called me. I was like, "How is he getting a busy signal? I'm right here."
I know. I thought that maybe the phone was off the hook or something. I had no idea.
Does that even happen anymore?
I have no idea. I assumed it would go to voicemail.
Yeah, exactly. It should have, but
yeah,
totally random.
I bet you there's some kind of a block on your end somehow.
Oh, it's my fault. Okay.
Well, it's certainly not mine. It's certainly not mine. No.
I believe you're up in Canada right now. Is this correct?
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think it's a transcontinental sort of the rivalry between the states of Canada.
Yeah, that's quite a rivalry.
Yeah. Well, for my part,
real well.
Yeah, I'm going to blame Canada.
Yeah, well, not at all surprising coming from an American.
No. Okay. Well,
all right.
I guess we'll wrap that then.
Okay, we'll wrap it there.
We'll wrap it there.
International war.
Before World War III breaks out.
Yeah. Okay.
So, all right. Well, thanks, Vic.
Thank you.
Really excited. I'm glad this is really good news.
Thanks, Mel. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
And we're back. So how was that talking to Vic?
That guy is hilarious. I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people now, or been involved in interviews with a lot of people in the last couple of years, thanks to CheckTV.net and then a couple of our other sites. And I got to say, hands down, top 5 experiences ever. This guy is amazing. I love him.
Very, very cool. And actually what excites me is I think that now completes the cast. I think we've had every single regular member of the cast in interviews.
I think you're right.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
We win.
Yay.
Very cool. Though the one I really still want to get is Matthew Bomer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
We got to talk to that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, please, can I?
Yes. I think that might need to be a joint interview.
Yeah.
Although it may be a lot of me stammering and stuttering.
Yeah. Well, that'd be cool. Maybe we can pretend we're talking about White Collar and then get to Chuck.
Yeah. I bet he would go for it. I bet he would.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, I think that's about it. So we're going to start wrapping up. We want to remind everybody to please, if you want to be reminded about various things like the podcast awards and podcast releases and all that sort of thing, send an email to mail@chuckpodcast.com with the subject notification to get added to our notification list for various things. And actually, an even better way is to follow us on Twitter, either Chuck TV. What is it handle for Chuck TV? Just Chuck TV?
CheckTV.net.
ChuckTV.net. Or for myself, it's just Gray Jones, Gray Jones. So you can follow us on Twitter to get up to the second updates on what's going on. And also, I want to remind you about Chuckazon. If you want to order either Chuck-related items or actually any Amazon.com items, you can order them through Chuckazon. Go to chuckpodcast.com and click through to Chuckazon, and you can order anything from Amazon, and it just gives us a little kickback to help support the podcast. You can also support with donations or themed merchandise for ChuckTV.net or Chuck versus the Podcast.
And we want to remind you about Check Out Chuck, the campaign we're running to donate the Season 1 DVD to your local library, or if your local library already has one, find somewhere else nearby that needs it and use that as a way to get the show out there for potential new viewers before Season 3 debuts. And, of course, don't forget to vote for us daily at the Podcast Awards, podcastawards.com, and we are in the entertainment category.
And if you have questions or comments to share, please email us at mail@chuckpodcast.com. We welcome all comments.
Yep, and a reminder, you can send voice messages if you want. We will play them on the podcast. If you have questions you actually want to record and email. I do want to remind you to please check out our sponsors. Movie Morons Podcast is a great sponsor of the podcast, and you can get the link at chuckpodcast.com and also SyrianJunkies.de. And so I guess we're going to wrap it up here. If you don't want to hear spoilers, you can just turn the podcast safely off now. If you do want to hear spoilers, get ready. And we're back, and we've got big news. Robert Patrick will guest star in episode 310, Chuck versus the Tic Tac, as Colonel Keller. As we speculated in the last podcast, this episode will be Casey-centric, and Colonel Keller is connected with Casey's past. That's no surprise. And in this episode, Casey does something really bad, like could cost him his job bad. I don't know. What could that be?
I don't know. It's got to be something treasonous, right?
Yeah, it would have to be.
To cost him his job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that could mean anything. I mean, like in Chuck versus the Colonel.
That's just what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Where he goes rogue for Chuck and Sarah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
So at least we know there's a precedent now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Casey has been the one to follow the rules exactly member of Team Bartowski, but now we have a precedent for him to bend them.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's going to be interesting to watch too, because of that very reason, he's always been by the book and proud of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I do think that there's going to be some friction with somebody else coming to head the team.
That's what I hear. Who was it that was talking about that? I think it was Ryan McPartlin.
Mm-hmm.
Was saying that Casey was not going to be real thrilled about the fact that Beckman's out and Shaw is in.
Yeah.
So, although that brings up a whole new line of speculation about where Beckman is.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that she doesn't have her fingers in that pie somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Even if she's not officially leading Team Bartowski, she's got to be around somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and he's got to report to somebody, so.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Well, moving along, Eon Line, doing what they do best, decided to stir the pot with the following spoilers. They got an email from Megan in Eugene, Oregon, who's asking, please tell me the rumors aren't true that Sarah and Chuck will be apart this season on Chuck. What can you tell us about Brandon Routh and Kristen Krug? And let's see, Eon Line says, I can tell you that Brandon Routh and Kristen Krug are rolling in on Sarah and Chuck so fast they'll make your Shuck-loving head spin. Shuck-loving?
I know. That's not even a word.
Yeah.
Ouch. Eon Line, can you do better?
So out of touch.
I'm hearing that episode 7 is quite the doozy. Chuck and Hannah, which is Kristen's character, share not only a kiss, but they then go on to treat the By Moore's home theater room like a no-tell motel. Meanwhile, Shaw, played by Brandon Routh, and Sarah have one of those, oh my God, we're going to die. So I may as well tell you I love you moments. I love that. Anyway, my soul just threw up a little too. The only good news, Kristen's character Hannah is so not what she seems, and I don't think she's long for Chuck's world, especially since she was nowhere in sight when I visited the set last week. Aces.
Yeah, and even though Brandon Routh is around for many episodes, she's only around for, I think, 3, right?
Right. And Zach said in that interview with USA Weekend that Brandon's around for approximately 8 episodes, which has a lot of people going, approximately? How are you around for approximately? I think my my best guess is that means he gets like killed at the beginning of his 8th episode. So it's like 7.25 episodes. Or, I mean, but anyway, this spoiler just about broke the site with people rushing in to comment. And in general, I just want to say, you know what? Take this with a grain of salt. E-Online is known for being sensationalistic and twisting things, so that we saw this several times in the first 2 seasons of Chuck. A big earth-shattering spoiler would come out from them, and it would turn out to be so overblown, so out of proportion. And I mean, just the fact that they're calling Chuck and Sarah Chuck instead of Chera tells us how out of the loop they are. But I mean, we have that line, Chuck and Hannah treat the Bymore's home theater room like a no-tell motel. Well, if you want to take that literally, when's the last time we saw Chuck at a no-tell motel?
Yeah.
It was with Sarah. And what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. Well,
Right.
not nothing, but as far as anything coming to, what do we call that? Completion. Yeah. You know, they're interrupted. So, and I got to say, there's a lot of speculation going on about just what Hannah is doing there, especially with this Hannah is so not what she seems. People are immediately saying, oh, she's part of the ring. She's part of the ring. She's a double agent, or she's a spy. But, you know, what if she's like in witness protection? That could be really interesting. But if there's some kind of a hint that she's not who she seems, then would Chuck be tasked with trying to seduce the information out of her?
Yeah, that could be. Like, this could be very deliberate.
Exactly. And we also have, in the case of Shaw, when we were first alerted to his presence, it was mentioned that he has skeletons in his closet. So the speculation was, what if somehow Team Bartowski, the original, got wind of these skeletons in his closet, and so Sarah then is tasked with trying to seduce them out of him. Seduce his secrets out of him. So, and this, you know, I may as well tell you I love you, because they're going to die. Right. So who's saying it to whom? It's been 2 years with Sarah, and she has yet to be able to say it to a person that we know she has feelings for. So it's not likely she's saying it to Shaw.
Right.
And anyway, just that whole spoiler just blew up on the internet, and I think it's completely wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong. But then it did lead to some really interesting speculation, which currently on the ChuckTV.net forums has gone into, what if this is all just a huge distraction, all of this relationship stuff, to keep us from looking at what's going on the spy side of things, which I think is pretty valid.
Yeah.
I think it's deliberate that it's been put out there so that we wouldn't get to looking too closely at who the other guest stars are. I mean, we've got that whole thing with Captain Awesome knowing, and he's got in 304, that's a focus on his character being targeted by a spy.
Well, and what about Yvonne Strahovski's interview comment about there being a couple of people that know Chuck's secret this season?
Right. Who's the other person?
Yeah.
So is it Shaw? If so, whatever. But I don't think that's who it is.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because I think it's pretty much assumed that he would know.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the impression that somebody else learns about Chuck's secret this season, like in the Buy More or elsewhere.
Right. So it's like we get this tiny, tiny tidbit of the spy side of the story, and then we get some really vague non-spoiler about the relationship that gets people all distracted. And so nobody's really paying attention to the spy side of things. And it seems to me, from especially the last arc there for season 2, that season 3 is being set up to be a major arc on the ring in particular. And, you know, this overreaching bad guy organization. And we haven't heard anything about it except that Brandon Routh's character is supposedly an expert on the ring. And that's all. And I just can't help but think we're being played, people. We're being played.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
I'm not falling for it.
me neither.
Cool. Well, I guess that's all we have for this week.
I think so.
Yeah, so we will be back next week with, I believe it's going to be part 1 of our Editors series.
Oh, cool. Looking forward to that.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that should be good.
Yep. Very cool. So have a good Chuck week.
And we'll see you next time.
All right. See you next time.
Bye-bye.